Great. So we will start off now. It's 11:01, and we will attempt to finish this session by 11:45. So this session is a joint effort between Zoho Commerce and ShipRocket. The topic for the day is going to be shipping for online sellers in India. And you can find both Zoho Commerce and ShipRocket, as you can see on your screens. You can find us on zoho.com/commerce, and at our handle Zoho Commerce, at Zoho Commerce on Facebook, Instagram, etc. Similarly, you can find ShipRocket at shiprocket.in, and at their handles at ShipRocket on the social media platforms. Right. So just before I start, I would want to introduce, the people who have tuned in to the panel that you have in front of you. This is Zoho Showtime. On your left, you can see question answers and a chat button. So any questions you have for us, you can type it into the questions tab so that we know that we are supposed to answer that. And Aarti, who is a marketer with Zoho Commerce, is answering those for us right now. We will also try and take some of your questions towards the end of the program, or while we are sort of having the discussion over some of the topics. If you have to leave any comments or have any other sort of discussion, you can of course, use the chat window for that. Right. So I hope it's all, everybody can hear me, and good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I will jump right into the slides now. So here you have us. So we are joined by Vishesh Khurana, who is the co-founder at ShipRocket today, and this is Ashish. I represent the marketing team for Zoho Commerce, and we will be talking about what you can see on the right side of your screens. The agenda is about the e-commerce opportunity that we have in front of us in India. Specifically, what has the current lockdown that all of us are facing, what has that changed for the e-commerce industry? And should you start selling online now? What's our thought process on it, and how you should approach this whole situation? For people who are already selling online, how should they approach this situation? And the challenges faced by online sellers in India, and and the solutions offered by ShipRocket will be taken over by Vishesh. So before we sort of start in earnest, I would want to quickly go over and start a poll and try and figure out who we are talking to, what our audience is today. So I am going to start a poll here, which is, as you can see on your screen right now, the question is, were you impacted by the regulations put in by the government? And the three options are: yes, you were impacted majorly, you were impacted mildly, or very little because most of your market was in the green zone. So it would really help us if we know the level of impact that you have faced in the current situation. Great. So we have a bunch of answers. Most of or the majority of people, I'm going to share the results with you. As you can see, the majority of people who are here today were majorly impacted by this situation, and I understand that. And why would that be? It's very interesting to know that some people were very little, were impacted very little. But yes, we will come around to talking to you hopefully. Right. So the next question I have for everyone is: do you have any of the existing integrations? Are you already using Zoho Commerce but not ShipRocket, or are you using ShipRocket but not Zoho Commerce? Are you using both, or you haven't integrated them yet, or you don't use either? So this will be again very interesting to us to figure out what our audience is, what are they using right now, and how we should approach this session going forward. Great. Again, extremely interesting answers. I'm going to share the answers with everyone in just about 5 to 10 seconds while we're still getting some answers. Great. So we have close to 16, 18, maybe 20 answers now. So here it is. I've shared the results with everyone. Uh, we have a good mix of people who are using Zoho Commerce and ShipRocket, but not the other, which is extremely interesting to note. On top of it, we have a lot of people who use neither of the two softwares. So it'll be very interesting to figure out how what their takeaway is from this discussion. Great. Thank you so much for talking to us and answering our questions. I'm just going to jump into the slides now, having understood. Great. Right. So here we are. If you're having any trouble, please let me know. Aarti, I hope the slides are visible. So as we were discussing, thank you. As we were discussing, I'm going to start with the commerce opportunity right now. So here it is. I have, here are a few numbers which are published by the government of India, Invest India, via Invest India, and the numbers say that the size of the retail market, the overall retail industry in India, is around 1.1 trillion right now in India, and that is growing at around a 10 to 12% rate, whereas the e-commerce market is growing at almost a 30% growth rate, right? And the number of online buyers themselves are growing at 25%. Now, these are huge numbers when you compare to the retail. So, the idea that we're trying to sort of communicate here is that if you're an offline retailer, your industry is growing at 12%, right? But if you look at the e-commerce side of things, that particular industry is growing at 30%, right? So there is a much bigger and faster growing opportunity on the side of e-commerce. And similarly, you must have heard this thing by now. Even the Prime Minister mentioned it recently about the demographic opportunity that we have, and I wanted to cover it very quickly. The traditionally India has had. So this is, as you can see on the left on the screen, in the graphic, that you have. The various income levels in the country, which is lower, emerging, middle, and affluent. And classically, we have always had a very pyramid kind of a structure, right? We have had most of our population in the lower and emerging middle class, and continuously reducing population as you go at middle class levels or affluent class. But as we transition, so the pyramid on your left on the screen is 2017. But as you transition to 2022, what you're going to see is this is going to change to a diamond shape, right? And with most of your population concentrated at the middle class level, which is between affluent and middle class, right? So this means there's a major shift in terms of the disposable income that Indians are going to see. That means more and more people will go online, more and more people will have money to spend online, right? And this data is from a PwC analysis of data published by IMF. Great. Now, coming to another interesting conversation that, again, Vishesh, who is representing ShipRocket today, and we were having yesterday, is this is a graphic from Money Control from data published by RBI for the 3 years after the demonetization happened in India, right? And demonetization, one of the biggest industries to gain out of demonetization right away were digital payments companies, right? So you're talking about the Paytms of the world and in similar ilk. Now, if you see on your on the beginning of the graphic, you have November 2016 when demonetization actually happened in India, where you have just 2 lakh transactions happening on UPI, and only 30 banks sort of promoting or supporting that infrastructure. Whereas in the by next year, from 30, the number of banks grew to 61, and you have from 2 lakh to 10 crore transactions. And the numbers I'm reading out is from the blue bar. And now I'm talking about last year. Now in October 2019, you have 115 crore transactions happening on UPI, right? So the point here is, there was a regulatory change brought in by the government, and suddenly the industry just exploded, right? And what we were talking about, or what we're planning to discuss later on in the webinar as well, that is lockdown. Is this lockdown that has happened? Is it the demonetization moment for e-commerce? I'm sure Vishesh has some great insights for us in this particular thing. Uh, so I will sort of wind off my introduction to Vishesh here by asking the question to you. Is So should you start selling online now, right? I mean, that's a very important question to a lot of our listeners, because we saw that a lot of people are not using either of the softwares right now. So a lot of them are not selling online at this point. So is it a good time at all? So, three things that we are observing is that the demand is up, so the market is there, right? Uh, Vishesh was telling me yesterday that Amazon has never seen such volumes. The kind of volumes they got on the first 2 or 3 days after demonetization was raised, right? And of course, a lot of us will see these numbers in the next few days as they are released by in the public domain. It's definitely very cost effective to start right now, because softwares like ourselves, like Zoho Commerce, the e-commerce software, is free for 90 days for our Indian clientele, and ShipRocket is also giving away in our current integration in our current partnership. They're giving away their advanced plan for free for a limited time as well, which details they will discuss. So it's definitely very cost effective. And is it easy? It for sure. So we have been running this content series where we are helping clients go online in 60 minutes or less. Right. We have actually helped a lot of offline retailers. I think in 5 or 6 in the past week itself, to just take their grocery sellers, or small retailers, let's say vegetable vendors, people like those. They've helped them go online from zero within a matter of a couple of hours, right? And that's the kind of turnaround time we are able to provide. So an answer to the question of should you start selling online right now is a big fat yes, right? That's what we believe. If you're not on the wagon right now, you're probably going to miss the bus in the long run. Right. So that's it from me. I am sort of going to leave Vishesh, hand over the presentation to Vishesh at this point. Uh, with this question to him is, how should the existing online sellers approach the current situation? And, you know, let's hope that everything comes back to normal, with this small caveat that all our listeners here and all the e-commerce sellers really are able to capitalize on the situation in front of us, and go from there. So over to you, Vishesh. I will just hand over the presentation to you.
Thank you, Ashish. I will just put down my presentation.
Perfect. It's
So, yeah.
visible, Vishesh. Thank you.
So I'll start with at least a small introduction to ShipRocket for those who don't use us or don't know about us. So ShipRocket is basically a logistics platform that aggregates all logistics partner under one platform, and The idea around ShipRocket is to actually optimize the entire post-order experience for your buyers, right? So what we do is we provide an Amazon Prime-like experience to all the D2C private label brands out there. At ShipRocket, there is a very high data they used in terms of to predict the best possible courier partner for best possible pin code, eventually increasing or improving your performance, delivery performance to maybe in terms of speed, in terms of cost, right? That's what we do. In terms of the whole how we adapted the whole national lockdown, I think there were a lot of initiatives that we undertook in order to not just for the short term or the lockdown duration, but also for the new normal post the lockdown. For example, even after post lockdown, the whole COVID-19 is here to stay, right? So we all understand that, and it's not something that's a short term thing. It's going to be there for a while now, and we all need to kind of adapt to the new standards or the new normal that we that will come to us. For example, the whole contactless delivery experience, right? The whole contactless deliveries will be almost the new normal. I received a package this morning from Amazon where they have been instructed to not even come inside the doors and leave all the packets outside and not meet anyone. So they will drop the packet outside your door without interacting with you or coming to you. That means, of course, cash on delivery will not even now no more be possible. So prepaid online shopping will be the new normal, right? Plus, how do you ensure that because you are not available physically to receive a product, how do you ensure that you are the or the product is delivered to the right person? Then there is the whole OTP based delivery mechanism, right? Where whenever somebody is outside your door to deliver a product, an OTP is delivered to the buyer's mobile number. That OTP needs to be provided to the delivery boy to ensure that so has to be a proof because in older days the proof was a signature. That's something we called as a proof of delivery. So somebody needs to sign that document. And going towards the whole contactless delivery, new product or there have to be new ways to do things, right? Then whole area around essential delivery, right? A lot of areas today also are under red zone or containment zone areas where for longest time only essential delivery was allowed. So ShipRocket, we at ShipRocket we launched the whole hyperlocal product for essential delivery, where even if you want to get a product delivered from your neighborhood store that could be few kilometers down the road, and you still want to avoid going there in order to practice social distancing, we can help you get those products picked up from the nearest store and delivered to your doorstep. Right? These are few initiatives that were during the days of lockdown. Now that we are slowly coming out of it, I think even after the whole lockdown thing is over, home deliveries will be the new normal. So I think everyone, all the retailers out there should kind of understand that opportunity and act on it now. Like in our slide, we said, is it should we go online? The answer is of course yes, and the answer is you should go online immediately. Right? Offline footfall will drop of there will be a fear that will follow the whole lockdown or even after corona covid-19 is gone, there will be a fear that will follow on large gatherings because you have just changed the habit of people, right? Now that there we all have to be as business owners, we all have to be proactive and make sure that you have a way to reach your customers if they are not coming to you. Then of course the whole your Zoho Commerce, your online piece becomes super important, right? And we all need to kind of work towards that and get things up and running. Times are good in terms of now we have technologies that make it easier compared to 5, 7 years ago where things were not as simple or there were no platforms like Zoho Commerce to go online with. You had to go to a developer to get a website made. It was expensive. Now, of course, it's easier. So let's use that resources and make sure we all are available to your consumers. And of course, internally for our employee safety, we did take the whole work from home very seriously. So we did shut down our offices way before the national lockdown started, and we continue to abide by that, and all our employees as well. In terms of how, if you have a Zoho Commerce and a ShipRocket integration website ready, how can you actually increase your productivity, or what ShipRocket brings on the table in terms of shipping experiences, right? Of course, there are still things like workflow automations and bulk shipping rates in terms. So if you are on a plan, and even if your volumes are low, you get the advantage of lower shipping cost, because we do a contract with courier partners on your behalf. So there is a bulk contract that is in play, and with offering you a lower shipping cost. The whole COD collection and remittance, while I believe the COD piece will be limited but not fully gone away, because we still live in a cash economy where cash is the most important way of transacting. In those times, we help you collect cash from multiple courier partners and remit to you in a one transaction. And of course, the whole reporting and systems around it. That makes it, for you, it reduces the overhead of talking to multiple partners, because we act as one point contact and we offer you the entire cash on delivery remittance in a one transaction combined from all courier companies. There are also features like early cash on delivery or our fair financing products, where if you need the money advance, that is going to be the whole scenario going forward. We also are coming live with our early payment functionality, where you can opt for a D+1 or D+2 payment cycle, where the money can be in your account as soon as 1 day after delivery. Then, of course, response or feedback from your buyers is very important. You need to understand the sentiment, because if you are not in an offline setup, how do you in, know your buyers? How do you know their feedbacks? How do you get what to improve? That's where the whole NPS functionality plays in. What NPS is Net Promoter Score. What that means, if somebody has purchased something from your Zoho Commerce store, and once that product is shipped, and there is a tracking page that is provided by ShipRocket. On ShipRocket's tracking page, your buyers have an option to rate you or rate the experience of their purchase. From on a scale of 0 to 10, they can rate their experience with your website and the delivery experience. Basis a number of responses, you know a larger sentiment whether your buyers are happy with you or not. And there are also comment section where people can type their feedback. That makes the gives you the opportunity to get some buyer responses in terms of what you should add, improve, or do in order to ensure that your buyers are happy with you and they'll come back and shop with you. Then, of course, we are also live with our warehousing functionality. As you know, with the whole migrant movement across the nation, a lot of people will face a problem post lockdown of manpower, where you will always have a staffing problem where some people might not return, some people might be late. But on the flip side, you will also have a surge in demand. If you are online, there is no doubt that you will have a surge in demand, right? People, there is no offline channel to shop. The only channel today available is online. So there will be a surge in demand. So you need to ensure that you are available or your systems are ready to fulfill. If you face issues in your storage and warehousing area, ShipRocket has for warehouse fulfillment capabilities, where you can send the products to our warehouse and we take over the whole pick, pack, ship for you, where we will manage the entire operations in terms of order management, packing and shipping the order to your customer, getting the RTO back, getting the return back, all those kind of activities that typically your internal warehouse would do, we can take over those activities for you. A very important angle from ShipRocket is something that we call as core. It's a courier recommendation engine. Like I mentioned briefly earlier, core basically helps you pick the best courier partner depending on the order's pin code. How it works, it works using tons of historical data, and we see performance of each courier partner on one pin code over million times. to understand which courier company was actually performing better in terms of delivery, in terms of speed, in terms of cost, on multiple parameters. So core helps you pick the right partners. Eventually, if you let core decide your courier partner, then there is a very high chance that you will see your delivery percentage going up because you are choosing the right partner for right pin code. NDR is a big problem in India. What non-delivery means is somebody, a buyer placed an order on your website, and eventually when the order reached their doorstep or near their city, they denied or they were not available to collect those orders. There are multiple scenarios at play here. What happens in this particular area, there are a lot of fake attempts by courier delivery boys, where there are chance where he never attempted the packet and buyer complains that I actually wanted the packet, but I never received a call. Sorry, I still want the packet, but I was not available at the moment when he arrived. I still want the packet but I will be available after 2 days. So there are availability issues to collect the packet from the buyer's end, but the intent is still that I still want the packet. In order to, you know, tackle that situation, what ShipRocket does is we run an NDR IVR flow. What that means is whenever there is a non-delivery attempt where somebody reached the buyer's doorstep and he was unable to collect those particular order, there is an automatic SMS and call triggered to his mobile number. The buyer can, using an automated system, one, either accept or reject delivery. That he says, no, I still want the product, please deliver it to me. If he says, I still want the product, what he can also do is he can now schedule that delivery. Scheduling helps him to choose a particular day and time slot for their product delivery. That means he could say, I want the product delivery over Saturday during lunchtime because that is when I will be available. So he can actually schedule a delivery, then courier company will actually attempt the delivery on that particular day. That also helps for both sides, right? For courier company, there are not wasted attempts. From the buyer's end, he can actually now schedule and ensure that he collects the packet when he's available. And the whole partnership with Zoho Commerce, now we have actually together integrated the platform to ensure a seamless experience. So if you are on Zoho Commerce and you receive orders, will be an automatic sync between the both platforms where your orders will be imported to ShipRocket dashboard. Once you ship and process your orders on ShipRocket, the entire tracking information and everything will obviously sync back to Zoho stores. You can manage, there will be a whole inventory sync as well, where if there are products that are failed deliveries and products that are returned, that will be automatically added back to stock, so you don't end up receiving missing out on orders, right? Calculation of shipping cost, that is one big angle where if you want to charge your buyers for shipping and you don't know what the cost around it, ShipRocket provides real-time API, and on Zoho Commerce stores, even before checkout, you can easily help them select the right pin code or if they enter the pin code, automatically it will publish a shipping cost. Of course, that enables the manual updates. Over to you, Ashish. I think we are here for you in terms of, like Ashish already mentioned, we have a free 90-day plans on both sides in order for you to go live.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vishesh, for that. We're just at the stroke of 30 minutes right now. So,
Yeah,
we have been seeing a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions around, the integration itself. I think we will take that up in at some other time. What do you think?
sure. I think that makes sense. And I think if there are questions that are available for larger audience, we should kind of take those up.
Yes, absolutely. So let me transfer the video back to you. And yes, so we have a question from Sharad. Here he asks us about more about the offers. So could you sort of help us quickly understand how? So I can talk about commerce, but how, what the ShipRocket plans are, and how can our users or anybody who's signing new use the current situation to get a great offer from you guys.
Sure. So basically, let me just inform you about ShipRocket plans. ShipRocket basically has three plans. There is an advanced plan, a professional plan, and an enterprise plan. Of course, there is the free light plan as well for low shipping volumes. What we are offering our users is a free plan, advanced plan for 90 days that typically attracts a SaaS fee. Uh, but in order for a Zoho partnership and in order to help people, we're offering that plan for free for 3 months. That come automatically translates into benefits worth of more than 10,000 bucks.
Okay. Awesome. That's very nice to hear. Thank you so much. And just to sort of cover that up in terms of what Zoho is offering at this point as well. So if you're a ShipRocket user and you're signing up on Zoho Commerce and you want to have your own website and your own store, what we do is we're giving away our plans for 90 days for free. And you just have to. So it's 60 days applied across the board. But if you are joining from ShipRocket, you just have to sort of tell us and we will extend your plan by another 30 days.
Yeah.
So there's a question around pricing. I'm not very sure. I don't think we have really touched upon the hyper-local delivery and that side that you have recently introduced. So how do you see this particular thing panning out? So questions around. So does that sort of a service work with somebody who is into the grocery market, or who do you see as the best user for your hyperlocal services?
See, pre-COVID, I think grocery was the primary use case, and we do have thousands of users using our hyper-local delivery service for groceries. But I think after the whole scenario that has panned out today, hyper-local deliveries will be not only for the grocery segment, it's going to be applicable to entire segment, even for stores like Zara, where of course people won't prefer to go to the store. Zara has now adopted the whole hyperlocal scenario where you can order from their store directly to your house, right? So now,
Correct.
in the times today we live in, everything is now people prefer to get it home delivered, irrespective of the category. The grocery was earlier easy to do, but now demand hasn't gone down. People still want to shop, but in it's now going to be applicable on each and every portion of the all categories. I believe there is no doubt about that.
Great. Okay, now on to a more difficult question. I think what we are hearing is, of course, it's a very, as we were also talking yesterday, it's sort of the price sensitivity in the market. So what are your plans around, that particular problem that most people or most sellers who are entering the market now and, feeling around for a good offer, let's say, or hoping to even form long-term relationships? How does this entire price structure evolve? Do you see shipping, because of the how do you see the pricing around shipping evolving from this point?
You see, from this point, I think shipping pricing is completely dependent on volumes, right? Because it impacts the entire operational process. So, with higher volume commitments to your courier partner, it makes life easy for everyone to commit to a lower cost. In future, I think the whole unit economics, even today, works for a lot of people, right? There are e-commerce businesses making money, all the private labels making money, they are profitable on order level. So the whole unit economics still works in terms of adding on shipping and margin. Going forward, I think it's not going to be a problem for a lot of new sellers who are now joining up. The whole unit economics completely works up if you do your pricing well. So you need to ensure you bundle up the cost of RTO, you bundle up the cost of shipping, and then you price your products for online selling. And of course, the most important piece, bundling up the cost of marketing of an order, your digital marketing
Right.
cost. Because a lot of people actually make mistake of not calculating these overheads and actually using their offline margin and then promoting their products online. Right? So there is a maths around it where you have to understand, even if you are in an offline setup, you end up incurring cost of rent, incur cost of overhead, staff, salaries. So that's how you price your products, right? So same applies to an online world as well.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm sure pricing itself is a completely a different world in which most retailers who are sort of moving online at this point will struggle. So how does this reconciliation happens, right? So we have a lot of our customers right now at this stage in India who are moving from an offline to an online model, or that testing it out. So if I had to sort of put you on a spot and say that, uh, if we talk average numbers, how much should somebody be aiming to earn, or look at a margin, and you can pick your categories which you want to talk about. And in let's say he's an offline retailer and he's thinking of moving online. So how much should he play around with in terms of his pricing?
I believe there is no one number to it, but on an
Yeah,
average, the whole margin pricing should be not more than 15-20% higher than your offline margin setup. Because I think that's a safe area you can play in. It's easy. For example, if you're in an offline world, you used to sell a product for 100 and the cost of goods was 80. In an online world,
mhm,
you probably should try to aim towards 120 in order to also, make space for offers. Where online, the whole couponing and offers work really well. So people need to actually also ensure there is space for some kind of offers on a particular product.
mhm.
So that's the only difference. Right? It's not like 100% jump that you need to go. The difference is very small, but yeah, that
Okay,
makes it important.
great. I think I have one final question around the marketplace versus having your own brand, which I think is a genuine question. Yes, we could answer it, but I am sure we will be biased when we answer it. So I would actually like to
Yeah,
put the question to you and ask you
absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
in your
It's
opinion,
sorry, please go.
how, no, no, sir, just to sort of add my uh, aspect to this question as well, that in your in ShipRocket's view, when it comes to market balancing a marketplace and having your own brand, using your own website with somebody like Zoho Commerce, how does somebody who is starting balance the two, and how does somebody who is already been selling on certain platforms, or how does he balance? So what's the difference, and how does the balance happen between the two kinds of sellers?
Great. So I think that's my favorite question. I've been kind of explaining this for years now. In terms of marketplace and your own brand, right? I think there is no either or. While a marketplace might sound easy, that just go online on a marketplace and you only incur cost when you get an order. But what people don't realize is one, you end up paying a commission of maybe 20, anywhere in the range of 20 to 40% per order, and in those times you even don't own the buyer, right? There is something in e-commerce language called the whole customer lifetime value, where you acquire a buyer once and he comes and shops with you multiple times. That eventually makes it whole thing profitable, because some you acquired the buyer once, you incurred the cost once, but the same guy is shopping with you again and again. The power of loyal buyers. On a marketplace scenario, you still, even in an online digital marketing world, you will end up paying the same cost to acquire the consumer. For example, your 15, 20, 25% per order will be the cost of marketing of an order or cost of getting that order. But the second that buyer reshops or comes back to you and shops again, that 15 to 25% is now zero. So you now make that kind of money, right? So what everyone needs to understand that both channels need to be active parallelly. Marketplaces to generate order, to sustain cost of operations and everything else. But in a long-term scenario, if you are building a long-term business and you want to have something that's stable and not dependent upon an Amazon or any other marketplace, for every brand, it's important to have their own channel ready in order to, if someday, for some reason, you stop receiving orders from Amazon, your fixed cost doesn't go away overnight. You still end up paying that, right? So it's important to have your channels and backup plans ready. Like today,
Right.
when the COVID-19 lockdown happened, a lot of people never had a backup plan. Their shops were shut and they had no business model to lean back on.
Right.
So I think it's important for future. We all need to be uh, very, very considerate about having parallel channels or backup plans to our businesses.
Perfect. I mean, I couldn't have, or actually, Zoho couldn't have done a better job at explaining that. And I think that's what we have been trying to say for long enough. That yes, it's great. A lot of our customers find a lot of success when they start off, but then the growth tapers off for whatever reason, not in their control with marketplaces, and then from that point they don't know what to do. So on the same vein, I have a question around. Okay, it's actually a very ShipRocket related question, so I'll just throw it at you. So Jugal Kishore asks that as of now, I don't have many customers buying online. 3 months is a great time that I have to now start. But can we talk about a number of orders rather, or a number of credits? System rather than a time limit. I think you have a free plan that can solve this problem, right?
Yes. So there is a light plan on ShipRocket. If you till the time you don't achieve a certain scale that you will feel comfortable to pay a SaaS fee, we have a
Mhm.
light plan that does not have any SaaS fee where you can start your services for free for some time.
Got it. Got it. So that's for you, Jugal. You can of course look at the advanced plan, try and see how it works, and then if your orders haven't really scaled at that point, you can move to the free plan to see, and wait it out till your
So yeah,
plans.
so I'll just
Yeah.
completely mention only difference amongst plans is the cost of shipping. So the recurrent
Right.
cost of shipping reduces as you jump up the plans.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. So right. There's a very technical question from Archana. I think we can take it afterwards as well, but I'll just sort of, since this is the last one, I'm just going to read it out. How's the
Sure.
volumetric weight calculated if there's multiple boxes? Let's say there's a 10 kg per box, and we have 5 boxes, and against one box of 50 kgs. How does this work
Sorry,
in
can
terms
you
of
repeat that
pricing?
for me? I lost your
Yeah.
voice for a while.
Okay, I'm sorry. In terms of shipping, and again, you can approach this from a pricing perspective, or even
Yeah, I got
from
actually got it.
how.
I can read them. So I got that.
Okay,
So
awesome.
from my yeah, the volumetric weight, correct?
Right, right, right.
Right. So a volumetric weight, when there are multiple boxes in one shipment, the volumetric weight is only about the outer packaging, right? So if
Okay.
there is one box that contains 10 smaller boxes, doesn't matter. The volumetric weight will be calculated on the outer packaging only because it goes through a scanner that calculates the dimensions of the outer packaging and not what's
Mhm.
inside. But there is a small catch here: volumetric weight versus dead weight. So it's always going to take whichever is higher. So if your
Okay.
volumetric is lower, but your dead weight, what I mean by dead weight is if the package size is wise, it's smaller, but the weight is maybe 10 kgs of the particular packet. And if you put a brick in that packet, but the size is still small, right? So it's going to take the higher version of it. There's always going to be dead weight or volumetric weight, whichever is higher.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much for fielding that question, Vishesh. All right. So we have a couple of small ones, which I will just tackle here. Is the 90-day free plan for existing ShipRocket users for existing? So I guess Amit, answer to that question is if you're an existing ShipRocket user, you do get 90 days on your Zoho Commerce plan, but not if you're already but not at ShipRocket, and vice versa. For all Zoho Commerce users, you get a 90-day on ShipRocket. And the other thing is, how do you avail that plan? So we'll be releasing documentation around it, but at the moment, uh, you should be able to get this plan straight away. So at least at Zoho Commerce, you can just sign up and you will have 60 days. Please feel free to write to us in case that is not activated automatically. And our support team is, they have the power to just increase your plan by another 30 days as needed. I am sure in case of any issues with ShipRocket, their support team are empowered as well. So that's it to our list of questions. There have indeed been a lot of questions around a demo, etc. So I'm sorry, Sajjan, we don't have a demo for you yet. But what we will do is
we'll put out a
you know
video for demo.
we'll
Yeah.
put out a
So
video,
when I'll
exactly.
have my team, yeah, I will develop a video around it on the whole how the integration works and how it is done. So we'll do both
Correct.
videos and put it out there
Uh,
ASAP.
Perfect. And we'll also have a help documentation and everything. Plus, for anything, please reach out to the support teams. They are completely empowered to help you out in any direction. Great. So we are at 10:45. We have just crossed that mark. We are also run out of questions. So thank you so much, Vishesh. I will just
Thank you.
put up a slide for any, just to show people where they can ask the next set of questions. So I'm just taking over control. And so, right, these are the, I hope you can see my screen. You can write to us at marketing@zohocommerce.com or directly to me at ashish.g@zohocorp.com. And to ShipRocket, you can reach out to support directly, or you can reach out to Akash Tandon at cartrocket.com. You can see the email IDs here. And thank you so much for joining in. It was great to field your questions and also hear some of the frustrations. We understand it's a difficult time for everyone. And again, thank you so much, Vishesh. It was great speaking to you. And I hope we can do this sometime in the future as well.
Same
Thank you
here.
so much.
Thank you.